Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Laurent Kssis, Managing Director and Head of Europe with Hashdex, pioneer in crypto asset management, to discuss its role in the Latin American market and launch of the Hashdex Nasdaq Crypto Index Europe. Laurent, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
Thanks for having me back, Jill. It's great to be back.
How did Hashdex become a leading player in the Latin American market?
Well, this sort of adventure started 3 years ago when the CEO's vision wanted to provide exposure to crypto and make crypto much more easily accessible to the investors, and particularly in the Brazilian market. So they offered a very innovative range of funds that were available first to high net worth individual, and then came last year the first Hashdex Nasdaq Crypto Index that really took the market by surprise, because it was available on the Brazilian stock exchange, allowing up to 8 to 10 coins listed as a basket, just like you would have with an ETF. And that's obviously attracted a lot of interest from investors. I would say predominantly first retail, but then came the institutional investors, and then came global investors who had access to the B3, the national Brazilian exchange.
Tell us about the Nasdaq Crypto Index Europe. What is the methodology behind it?
Yeah, so we've decided to arrange a new index with Nasdaq, and obviously the Nasdaq Crypto Index is a very popular one, but we've adapted it for the European market. We feel that this index is particularly designed for a European investor, where we're actually focusing on the methodology very much identical to the one we're using for the NCI, but we adapted it to a European market, predominantly because exchanges in Europe are allowing certain coins, certain cryptocurrencies, and other exchanges are not. So what we wanted to do is the methodology so that we could filter all of these coins for the exchange that we're going with. And today we're incorporated in Switzerland, which allows us a much more friendly environmental landscape in order for us to promote these baskets. Obviously, our angle is themes. We want to be focusing on giving the investors exposure to the broad market, whether it's with the NCI or with the European index of the NCI, so the NCIE. And we've really tweaked this very well with Nasdaq's team, the index team, that has been really a very solid partnership that has been able to allow us to adapt this methodology so that we were able to implement it in the European markets with their constraints. So that's really been one of the success stories. And this is the reason why today we're listing the Hashdex Nasdaq Crypto Index Europe onto the Swiss markets, where very much is relying on the investable side of this index. And we really feel that we're delivering a product that investors have been asking for, which is accessing a broad side of a crypto market without them having to look and to manage it. So we're doing it for them. And with the use of the Nasdaq index that we've got, this allows us to capture really the crypto index. Because today what you have seen in Europe is you've got very much a very established, mature market with a lot of players that predominantly offer single exposure to crypto. And we feel that from an institutional perspective, particularly with the investors that we're talking to, they really want to have and capture the market where they can mitigate the risk and obviously diversifying their exposure. With single asset, this is much trickier. So we feel that we're really answering the need of investor, and we're filling a gap here.
How is the NCIE different from its competitors?
Well, as I mentioned, there's a lot of issuers today in the markets, but we really feel that where we're coming in is that the NCI is nothing different to the NCIE in effect, that the methodology itself and the thematic approach is really established under the NCI index. So obviously investors can look at the NCI today and they can literally see the difference where we've adapted and we've actually filtered the exposure to what the exchange, the stock exchanges allow us to actually insert into this basket. So we really feel that, first of all, we've got institutional grade service providers, and that's very important in this market because without them, we wouldn't be able to exist. And we're using really high grade companies such as Nasdaq in order for us to deliver this institutional grade product to the market. We also feel that the thematic angle, the beta exposure, is by far the most interesting for investors. And like an ETF, people want to buy baskets of underlying assets, and we're exactly doing this with this Nasdaq Crypto Index Europe.
And finally, Laurent, it sounds like this better fits the needs of European investors. Is that the case here at the end of the day?
Well, we're hoping that it is. I mean, we really believe, having spoken to many clients in Europe today, that what they're asking for is they've obviously know what Bitcoin and ETH are today, and they can invest it very much like an ETF today in Europe. You've got quite a lot of products available. But what they don't have today is a basket of stocks that capture the market. And we really feel with the Nasdaq crypto index, we've been able to deliver this, and using this very trusted vehicle that is an ETP in Europe that is answering the need of institutional investors. So we really feel that this is an exciting journey for us, and we've got quite a lot of other products that we're going to admit to the market, and we're also hoping to be in Europe and also with Nasdaq Stockholm.
All right, Laurent, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thanks, Jill.